Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boink Studios, and check us out on boinkstudios.com, where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy Show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 88 of the podcast, and if you're joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all of those involved, we will extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Man, this was like, I had like 5 false starts on this freaking episode, dude. I attribute that to a couple things. Number 1, lack of sleep. Number 2, total excitement to be here. And number 3, this ice cold Coke Zero, or they're calling it Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Today's podcast brought to you today by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. That's not true. If it were, I wouldn't be, I would be rolling in some cash about now. Maybe I should pursue that sponsorship. What do you guys think? Anyway, I'm a big proponent of Coke Zero Sugar, as it were. However, don't ever drink carbonated beverages and then attempt to do podcasts. It's a horrible idea. I'm just saying. Excuse the voice. I'm no Aiden English. Hey, how are you folks? Welcome to the show, man. Glad you are with us. I'm the aforementioned Tom Clark. This is my baby. This is the Main Event. If you've never listened before, hey, what's up? Thanks for, being here and stuff. It's cool. If you have been here before, and you're not thoroughly impressed, well, this will be the one that does it for you. Trust me. Trust me, this is a good one. Let's just go ahead and dive in, man. This is going to be fun. This time, the main event is WrestleMania 34. And yes, I must pronounce the T because it's just so much fun. WrestleMania 34, man, the show of shows for 2018 is in the books. April 8th saw WWE bring its biggest event of the year to New Orleans, site of WrestleMania 30, and that played into a couple of different storylines, actually more than a couple, I believe. But WrestleMania 34 is officially done, and I don't know what you guys are thinking about it right now. Right now, I am about less than about 10 hours removed from it, give or take. And I got to be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed the show, man. I really did. I got a kick out of it. People seem obsessed, pro wrestling fans in particular seem obsessed with ratings and whatnot. 5-star this, 5-star that, 6 stars this, 6. I don't really care. I don't do that stuff. That's not really me. If you've ever written my stuff, first of all, you're plagiarizing. I'll have your head for this. If you've ever read any of my stuff, I don't really do the ratings thing. All due respect, I don't really care. If that's your thing, go with God. That's fine. I don't really care about that because it's such a subjective thing. I will put it to you this way. If you nailed me down and said, Tom, what did you think about WrestleMania 34 in terms of all the WrestleManias that you've seen, and I've seen all of them, it's top 10, maybe top 5, for several different reasons. Not the least of which is there was a lot of surprises happening on this card. And we're not going to go in order. We may not cover every single moment that happened, but I want to at least get the highlights here on this episode because, quite frankly, it's been a month since we talked. In fact, it's been a month and a day today, actually, which is quite sad. I think it's a month and a day. Yes, it has been. I've got the show here in front of me, and I do take notes. I do look at stuff. Don't be thinking I'm not prepared, man, because that's not cool. So, yes, it was way past the time for us to hang out together and talk again about the business that we love. So let's go ahead and do that. What did you think? what are the highlights for you? How do you think everything played out? As we said before, a lot of surprises, man. A lot of kooky stuff happened at WrestleMania 34. Let's go ahead and get right into it. How about that Undertaker, huh? You got to check it out, man. Daily DDT, my latest for them. The Undertaker turns back the clock at WrestleMania 34 because, baby, he sure did. He absolutely turned back the clock. This is a guy who the past several years, let's just say, did not look his best. And that's putting it very respectfully. A lot of guys had a lot of problems with how he looked last year and the year before, and especially the year he lost to Brock, which was 2014. And, that was tough to watch. I'm not going to lie. It was tough to see. But at the same time, I will say this. I don't get too hung up on stuff like that. I mean, once the bell rings, it's time to deliver. So I don't really care. Oh, the Undertaker's got a gut on him. This is ridiculous. I did notice, of course, last year against Reigns that Taker was laboring pretty substantially throughout the match. And that was hard to watch, just because I do have so much respect for him, as do a lot of you guys out there, I know. But yeah, man, he came back, and we said this the year that he came back against against Bray, which I think was 31 in 2015, right? So yeah, it was good to see him back. He looked phenomenal. He looked better than he did then. He had the long hair. And it's terrible. I just said I don't get hung up on looks and stuff, but right off the bat, I said this hair doesn't look real. Or these hair extensions. Can a man get hair extensions? I'm not schooled in this stuff, man. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm thinning on top. Maybe I should look into that. The Undertaker's hairpiece. I don't know. And again, that's not to mock or make fun of. The dude always had the ability to grow his hair out substantially, right? So if it's his own hair, then cool, that's awesome. It just didn't look, it's whatever. Don't really care. It's receding hairline is happening. He's got some age on him. But brother, you couldn't tell by his body. I mean, whatever gut that he had developed over the past couple of years was gone. He was in phenomenal shape. That dude flew around the ring like he had found the fountain of youth and came back and was just determined to put on the best show that he's put on in years. I'll go ahead and say it. I think it was his best match since the Triple H matches. It's my opinion. I don't know, dude. I don't know how you feel about it, but maybe, how about this? Maybe his best match since, how about the best he's looked since he faced Shawn? How's that work for you? Right away, I read some criticism online because, believe it or not, dude, people complain on the internet. I don't know what kind of world are we living in? What's going on out there? Cats and dogs living together. It's mass hysteria. But yeah, man, some instant criticism online talking about, well, he squashed John Cena. I can't believe this. He squashed him. Let me get this straight. First of all, if you are of the belief system that he squashed John Cena, as you hear my dog's collar rattling as he comes up the steps, he likes to visit and hang out in the studio. What can I tell you? But listen, man, if you are of the mindset that John Cena got squashed by the Undertaker, I want you to do something. I want you to get real close to the mic because I'm going to whisper it to you because I want you to understand what it is I'm saying. So get real close, and here it is. Are you ready? Okay, here it is. Stop listening to my show because you're an idiot. Okay, you know what? You know me, I don't name call. Okay, I name call all the time. But the point is that if you believe that John Cena got squashed, you've lost your ever-loving mind. This is the same guy that people complained about for years that he won too much. John Cena wins too much. This is ridiculous. All he does is win. I don't know why my voice of a wrestling fan is like the black comedian's voice imitating a white dude. Why am I doing that? I have no idea. The voice that Eddie Murphy made famous, yes. But, yeah, man, it's the same guy. It's the same guy that everybody complained was winning too much. So he does the job to Taker at WrestleMania. The legendary Undertaker, by the way, let's not forget. And he automatically gets slammed for it. Not by everyone, but by some people. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Other people talking about, well, the match was too quick. What was that? What's this all about? Dude, do you have any idea what the idea, the process is of wait and see? Let's see how this develops. This is telling a story. You don't read the first page of a book and say, well, what the heck was that about? This is garbage. I mean, if you've got any brains in your freaking head, then you continue to read and you see how the story plays out. There's a bigger story going on here, and that story may culminate at WrestleMania 35. I don't know. It could culminate as early as Backlash. How do you know? Maybe SummerSlam. Who knows where it's going to go? But the fact is that Taker is in great shape. The Phenom is in phenomenal shape. He looks better than he has in years. Since before the streak ended against Brock at Mania, he looks great. He moved around that ring, flew around that ring like a man half his age. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Here's the key. How did Taker feel when he woke up this morning, the day after Mania? How did he feel? He's 53, right? Brother, I'm not 53. I'm not close to it. But, man, I'm going to tell you right now, if I work hard on a certain day not wrestling in a wrestling ring in front of 78,000 plus, dude, I'm exhausted. I'm tired right now. I haven't slept. I mean, I slept like 3 hours last night, whatever it was. I mean, I'm tired, man. It's going to be a long day today, long Monday night, long Tuesday. But I can't imagine. I mean, he's blowed up right now. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, ask him how he feels, and he might have a different story than what I'm pitching you right now. But, dude, he looked great. I can't be upset at all at how this went down. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If the point of this was merely just to give John what he wanted and give John a WrestleMania match against Taker and it's one and done, I don't really care. That's fine. The crowd was happy. John was thrilled. Taker had to have been happy with his performance. Everything was great. So leave it alone. If that's all it was, just leave it alone. Stop trying to make something out of nothing. And if there's a bigger story to play out, like I said before, man, just be patient and wait and see where everything leads. Because that's the best idea, yes? That's the best thing to do. I know it's not easy, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not preaching to you. Maybe a little bit. But, I mean, I know it's not easy, but, you got to take time. Sometimes these things do take time. And we'll just wait and see what happens. But I got to tell you, man, if this is leading somewhere, it could be somewhere big. I don't know. I do wish we had gotten some promos along the road to WrestleMania 34. Do you know what I mean? I would like to have heard Taker say things like, listen, you wouldn't have had a career unless I gave you my blessing in 2002 on TV, which he most certainly did. I brought you in this world, I can take you out. And I think that would have been a primo moment. But you know what? That still may happen. Who knows? But like I said, man, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Kudos to both guys. John played his part extremely well. Taker killed it. I was happy with this. I don't see any issues or problems anywhere. You can have your opinion. That's perfectly fine. You're allowed to be wrong. Sorry, man. I'm not one of those guys. Okay, but in this instance, I am. Let's move on now. Let's talk about a few other things here. How about Asuka? We're going to jump ship to WrestlingRumors.net, which yours truly also contributes to. I got 3 columns up, 2 written the night of Mania and 1 written today, the day after. Let's talk about this one. Asuka loses at WrestleMania 34. Why it had to happen. That's right, man. The Empress of Tomorrow's undefeated streak has come to an end. She suffered her first loss on the grand stage of them all against Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. Okay, so what does this mean? Here's my take on it, okay? SmackDown Live. Asuka is a member of Raw, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Had she won the title, she obviously would have been on SmackDown. That would have been an interesting fit for her. So I didn't get too, wrapped up in the black and white of all that stuff. But I will tell you this. I was looking forward to this match because it was the unknown. It was something we had not seen before. We've seen Charlotte versus Sasha. We've seen, Alexa versus Sasha. We've seen these matches, but what we've not seen is Charlotte versus Asuka. So, we finally got something different. And actually, it's coming up on the WrestleMania replay right now on WWE Network as we speak. Strange the timing of that one, yes. But, yeah, man. So Charlotte brings it. Asuka brings everything she has. Asuka looks. I can't say that Asuka looked dominant because Asuka's dominated almost everyone they put her in the ring with until she and Nia Jax pretty much had her number until the end, and then Asuka pulled out the win. But that's not the kind of action that we got from Asuka this time out. It was more or less like, Asuka was evenly matched with Charlotte. They were evenly matched throughout the entire match, and you knew that was going to happen, right? I mean, I don't know what I thought about this. Since I no longer write for certain websites, I don't really do predictions anymore. I guess I could if I wanted to. I was never really crazy about them. I can sit here and tell you what I think and what I think might happen. But at the same time, here's where I'm coming from in this right now. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I did not believe that Charlotte was just going to roll over and play dead for Asuka. Absolutely not. I mean, we're talking about Charlotte Flair, man, the centerpiece of the women's division in WWE. I mean, she's it. She's the top dog, man. So, like, for anyone out there to believe that Asuka was just going to roll into WrestleMania and just kind of, demolish her, that wasn't realistic. It never was realistic. It's just, it wasn't meant to happen. It was supposed to happen. If it had happened, it would have done a lot of good work that the company has done for Charlotte. Now, that leads to part 2 of this. Is this over? Just like with Taker and John, this could be one and done. But I would be okay with that. I don't know if I'd be okay with this, but because I think there's more story to be told, maybe. Here's why I say maybe. The goal was to win the title. Asuka didn't do that. Charlotte's goal was to beat her opponent. She did that. How much of this was about the streak? How much it was just about beating her opponent? If you ask Charlotte in character, Charlotte would tell you, this was another opponent. I didn't underestimate her. I knew she was dangerous. I knew what she could do, what she's capable of. But I had to treat this like another opponent. And I had to work my way through the match, and I knew my strengths. I knew what it took to beat her, and so I got the job done. You see what I'm saying? I think it'd be a very politically correct answer to that query, okay? But I will say this. Would I like to see them again? You better believe it. I'd love to see a return match. Maybe Asuka's point of view now would be like, you know what? I lost a match. Cool. Monkey's off my back. Let's go have fun now. Now I'm ready to kill somebody. You know what I mean? Because like now I got nothing to lose. If I take you at Backlash and we work again for the title and I don't win, who cares? I still got my career. 2 losses don't mean anything. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if they're going to go that route or not. Just throwing it out there to you. If this were one and done, I think I'd be okay with that too. There's other competition out there for both of these girls to face. So who knows where it goes. Some of that competition could be right around the corner. Let's talk about her. Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Wrestling Rumors, also .net, by the way. Thank you very much. Ronda Rousey delivers on the hype at WrestleMania 34. Because, brother, she did. Let me just tell you right now. She so did. I knew that she would be ready. I never really slammed her in any column. I wrote a column way back when for Bleacher, taught something about, does WWE even need her? They probably even need her. It's a waste of time. And I didn't say that she couldn't contribute, but what I was saying was they had so many female performers, good, top, solid female performers, that did they even need her in the mix? Well, I was right about one thing. She did contribute. She had the best coming out party that maybe we've ever seen at WrestleMania. That's a big statement, yes, but I don't know, man. I mean, you have to go back and do a little research, do a little homework, and figure out if there was anyone else that had as good of a showing her first night out at a major event, at the major event, regardless. I don't know, man. I mean, she looked tremendous. Now, keep this in mind. This match has more than likely been on the books, been on paper for months on end. I mean, this thing took place on April 8th. Chances are this thing was on the record or on the paper on November 8th, October 8th. Who knows? Which means they had a lot of time to get this match right. You know what I'm saying? Work up every spot. Run through those spots hundreds of times to get it right. Now, you can't run through how many times it takes to throw, good working punches and to sell those punches. I'm not suggesting that, but what I am saying is that it takes time to work up great spots and to have them believable and to have them work within the context of the match itself. And we know that they absolutely did that. So I'm very happy with that. Ronda looked like $1 million. I'm a fan of the short skirt. I'm not going to lie just because I'm a red-blooded American man, and by God, that's how we roll. But, yeah, I was digging the skirt. But the whole presentation, dude, she was ready to fight. I mean, when they announced her name, she didn't stop and try to make the crowd pop, dude. She was taking her jacket off and the skirt off and saying, let's just go do some work. I mean, she was tremendous. The match overall was good. They didn't really care about Hunter and Kurt because they wanted Ronda in the ring. As soon as Ronda get in the ring, Fireworks happened, but then they came back to Triple H and Kurt later on, which was a nice touch. I mean, the match itself was excellent. I can find no fault in it. She was a little shaky when she first got in, but wouldn't you be? But she did tremendous. I mean, I'm so impressed with her, and I don't think I read one negative comment anywhere. And if there's any people out there being negative about this match, sorry, but you're wrong. We're all entitled to our opinions, and if you took something different out of it than I did, so be it. But let me just tell you right now, brother, you took something different than me and like thousands and millions of other people took, because a whole lot of people loved this match and thought that she did tremendous. If this is the Ronda Rousey that we're going to get from this point on, then I say kudos to her, and let's have more of it. In the column, I speculate as to what's going to happen next because I'm an analyst, and that's what I do, okay? So now that it's over, what's going to happen? Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey is going to happen. It might be too soon. You know, they managed to keep The Rock and John Cena away from each other for 12 months, which wasn't hard because Rock's out in Hollywood and stuff like that. But I don't know if they can keep Charlotte and Ronda away from each other for an extended period of time. I mean, it's possible. It could be that Ronda starts working her way through all the 4 horsewomen until she gets to Charlotte. I don't know. I'm not suggesting she turns heel, but I think anything's possible at this point. I do think that she could feud with Absolution first, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, take them down one by one, right? I think anything like that's possible as well. I think the door's wide open. She has said publicly in more than one interview that this is her life now. This is who she is, and this is what she wants to be. And everyone's just going to have to get used to it. Well, the fans are used to it. They love it already because she did amazing. And if she's correct, if she's right that this is her life, then you have to think that she's going to be on TV more than just 2 out of 4 weeks to put over the next big pay-per-view. Let's hope that she's on TV every week. Now, I know what you're saying, Tom. She's such a big name. She's such a household name. WWE's got a lot of money invested in her, just like Brock Lesnar. And they don't want to risk overexposure like they could risk with Brock Lesnar if he showed up on TV every week. I get that. I'm not a doofus. I understand it completely. But at the same time, again, you do have a lot of money invested in her. She says this is her life from now on. This is who she is. People need to accept it. She can't get better. And this is the issue. She can't get better if she's not working. Okay? Bottom line. And she's very good right now. To be as green as she is in this business, she's very good. She is not great. Okay? She could be great, but it would take time. It takes the most natural of athletes. Kurt Angle wasn't great the first minute he got in the ring. He was a natural, like Ronda is. But he wasn't great. He had to work to become great. And the only way you become great is by continuing to work as many talents as possible. You have to work talents better than you. And then you have to work talents that are not as strong as you. So you can see where your strengths are and their deficiencies are. And you can compensate. And that's what being a pro wrestler is all about. That's the life for pro wrestlers. What she signed up for is what she wants, right? So make it happen, dude. Just make it happen. That's what I say. So I'm looking forward to what happens with this. People often... I don't know about it often, but I've been asked, hey, Tom, who's your favorite wrestler? Who you're a fan of? I don't know if I really do that stuff. I mean, I'll make comments like, man, I'm a fan of that guy. I'm a fan of that chick. And I'll say things like that. But if you nail me down and force me an answer, I don't really have answers, man. I'm not trying to sound vague about it. I can tell you guys I don't particularly care for, and I try to keep it professional. Don't make it personal, obviously, because that's not something I should do in my position. It's nothing any of us should do. These men are risking their lives in the ring every time they get in there. Who are you to sit back and say this was the worst thing you've ever seen in your life and they didn't care? Screw you for saying that. By the way, I had a little verbal exchange last night on Twitter. That was a little fun. Someone that I don't know tried to put me in my place. Let me tell you something, brother. I've been doing this for going on 8 years. I don't have as much experience as a lot of guys, but I damn sure have a lot more than a lot of other guys do. So the next time someone wants to try to debate me and put me in my place, understand that I will not roll around and play dead for anybody. I will be as professional and as respectful as I possibly can. But, no one puts baby in the corner, okay? Know that. Believe it. Have no idea why I just quoted Dirty Dancing, but screw it. I don't even care. I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling good. Life is good, man. You want to know how I know? Because I'm breathing. I watched WrestleMania. I got my Coke Zero Sugar, my indigestion to go along with it, and I got WrestleMania happening on my TV. Life is good, Jack. Doesn't get any better than this. Well, it could, but we're not going to go there. So let's get back to the show here. So yes, Ronda Rousey, phenomenal job. Very impressed with her, as was everyone else. And not surprised that she did well, Am surprised that she did as well as she did. So yes, hats off to her. Let's segue, shall we? Let's talk about surprises, as in, what in the world did I just see? Roman Reigns went down hard. Your boy Roman Reigns went down hard. Okay, like a ton of bricks. This guy. Roman Reigns did not win. So this is the tough one. This is a tough one for everybody involved, and there's a really, really good reason why it's tough for everybody involved. You cannot be a fan of Roman Reigns and understand that for 2 years straight, WWE was building to last night, to WrestleMania 34, to the epic rematch of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and you can hate both guys, and hate what they're going to do, and know what they're going to do, and despise it, but you knew where it was going to lead to. And even Roman's haters are like, you know what, screw it, just let him get in there, get the belts, we'll get this over with, and maybe his next feud will be about somebody that's actually there all the time. We can actually care about this, and let's move on. Okay, cool. I mean, I dare say that's the thing. So even when the haters know where it's going, because all signs point to it and logic points to it as well, then it becomes a very curious thing when it doesn't go there. This was building up to Roman Reigns slaying the dragon. That was the whole point of this, man. He was slaying the dragon. He was the lone knight on a quest to slay the dragon. That was him. And he didn't get it done. Surprising. So I will refer you back to the aforementioned Wrestling Rumors, column number 3 of the day. Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 34 loss. What does it mean? My God, I'm glad you asked me that, because let me just tell you right now. Roman Reigns on TV is pretty dominant. Yes, we can all agree on that. Roman Reigns on a usual month-to-month event schedule is pretty dominant. Yes, we can all agree on that as well. Roman Reigns, when it comes to winning the big one, can't get it done. Okay, what does that mean? What's that mean exactly? This entire time, we have all sat back and assumed that WWE has no idea what it's doing. And it's quite possible that we're all true about that. We're all right about that, by the way. Who knows? But we've all assumed WWE doesn't know what it's doing. And hence the reason why you see, you see Brock and Roman going on last on a show that had Shinsuke versus AJ, which we can talk about in a bit. So it makes you think, well, they just don't know what they're doing. They've been pushing this guy hard for, what's it been? Going on 3-4 years now, right? This guy, 4 straight WrestleManias. This is, yes. So no one wanted him then. They don't want him now. They probably never want him. So WWE has no idea what it's doing. They don't hear us. God, my God, they don't hear us, Jack. They don't hear us. They don't hear anybody. I think maybe they do. Here's why. I believe that Roman Reigns' loss at WrestleMania 34 was WWE's way of acknowledging the fact that people hate this guy's guts. And if you ask Roman Reigns whether or not he cared if he won the match, he's going to tell you he didn't care. Straight up. Listen, guys, listen. And I'm as guilty of this as anybody else listening. And I probably will be in the future as well. We get really, really wrapped up in who wins and who loses. And I understand why. We watch pro wrestling companies that do everything in their power to make us believe that winning and losing is indeed that important. So when we do actually start buying in and believing that, hey, winning and losing really is that darn important, then we get criticized by people like me who says, hey, winning and losing is really not all important. Look at the grand scheme of things. Look at the scope of the stage we're talking about. Just to be in the ring, as he said last year. I mean, if Taker had beaten him last year, you think Roman would have shed a tear over that? I mean, forget the payday, forget the money, forget all that stuff. Hard to forget, yes? Forget that for a second and just, think about this. If Taker had won last year, Roman wouldn't have cared. I mean, in his words, just to be in the ring with the guy is an honor. You think that he felt any less about if he had lost, losing to Brock Lesnar, you think he feels any less about that? You think Brock cares if he wins or loses? You think Taker? I mean, here's the thing, guys. When you get up to a certain level, when you get to Undertaker level, when you get to John Cena level, when you get to Brock Lesnar level, you're going to be able to call a lot of your own shots. You've earned that, okay? You're to that point where you're able to say, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and I want to do that. And the company says, okay, you don't have to do that. You can do this. And the guy says, great, let's go do this. So that's what we're talking about. So when you get to that level, there are certain things you can call your shot on. And I'm not saying that that they're running each guy's running his own career individually, because you still got to play ball and you still got to cooperate, and you still got to get along, make the show a success. But what I am saying is, don't believe for a second that winning and losing means all that much. Here's the most important part. To any smart professional wrestler, the first thing out of their mouth, especially a guy like Roman, because I think he's proven he's smart, the first thing out of a guy's mouth like Roman is going to be, where is this going? Tell me where we end up. And if you end up at a logical place where a good story's been told, it's plausible, it's believable, it's relatable, are you going to end up better now or better then than you are now? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. If the answer is I don't know or no, don't do it. Right? You think he doesn't have the power to veto? He may not be able to stop them, but he has the power to speak up and say, I don't want to do this, guys. You guys are killing me, man. You got to give me something different here, man. He has the power to do that. Don't believe for a second he can't speak up if he wants to. I mean, look at the level he's on now, dude. He more than has the ability to do it. Whether or not he does it, I don't know. I'm just saying. But again, don't get too wrapped up in the wins and losses here, man. Where is this going? I'm glad you asked, because I don't know. I don't know, man. I just, as I said before, this 2-year journey was about getting him to Mania and putting him over on Brock. I predicted that he was going to kick out of 5 F5s. I got that written down. It's written down. I'm a writer. Can't you tell how gooder I am at it than you are? But I predicted 5 F5s. It took 6. Brock busted him open. It looks like the hard way. I can't swear to it. I got to go back. I've only watched the match twice, and I was half watching the second time because I was writing. But I got to go back and watch again. I'm not sure if Roman gigged off something. He might have had a blade in his wristband or in his glove or whatnot. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It looks like maybe Brock opened him up the hard way. That dude had a crimson mask, the proverbial crimson mask from 1986 NWA, right? Good times, baby, good times. Rock and roll. I mean, he looked good. He did everything that was required of him in that match. The win or losing thing, it's whatever. The story was told between the ropes. Fans booed it. They had a beach ball out, and everyone that touched the beach ball should be drug out to the street and had the living piss beat out of them. I hate that. I hate you. If any of you out there are taking beach balls to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or even to Impact or wherever you're going, I hate you. You are not a pro wrestling fan. You are there for yourself. You are there to entertain yourself. You don't care about what the show can give you. All you care about is yourself. You are not pro wrestling fans, and I'm disgusted to be associated with you. How's about that? I'd love to write that column. Boy, that'd get some heat, huh? I've got my own blog over on boinkstudios.com. Maybe I just will write that sucker and try to control the cursing as much as possible. It's nonsense, man. What happened to true pro wrestling fans? They're a dying breed, dude. A dying breed. Now all we have are complainers and whiners and babies and just can't take anything. Before you automatically say a show is complete garbage, give it a few hours. For God's sake, do at least that. Sit back, digest it, go back and look at it match by match and ask yourself, what can this mean? Where is this going? What is the point of this? I know they disappointed today. I know tonight was rough. What's going to happen tomorrow? See, because a pay-per-view is, depending on what show you're talking about, WrestleMania is usually the blow-off for a lot of storylines. But this WrestleMania was different in and of itself because it seems to be the beginning of storylines. And since we're talking about that, as my chair creaks, go to GoFundMe and help me buy a new chair. Don't do that. It's not there yet. It's going to be, I promise. But as we talk about that, let's get into it. WrestleMania 34 had many shockers, many surprise finishes, crazy things we didn't expect. Ronda Rousey did amazing, right? Better than anyone could ever have expected of this chick. Charlotte beats Asuka's streak. That shocked a lot of people. Roman Reigns did not win the championship. What? A lot of people had Finn Balor picked to win the Intercontinental Championship. I did as well. I just said I don't do predictions, but he was the guy I had in mind to win. Seth Rollins wins the belt. That was a little bit of a surprise, yes. Braun Strowman drags a kid out of the audience to be his partner. What did you say? What did you say? No, I didn't stutter, my man. Braun Strowman picked a kid. It was a plant, of course. Something about him might be a referee's kid. Not really sure. Don't really care. Picked a kid out of the audience. I would love for that to have been my kid. My kid would have a blast. My 9-year-old would have been like, dude, tag me in. I'll help. I'm not playing. For real. God, that would have been awesome. Now it's all I can think about for the rest of my day. But, yeah, and won the tag team straps with this kid. What is going on in the world? That was unexpected. How about Shinsuke Nakamura turning heel on AJ Styles? I should have maybe have warned you guys this thing was full of spoiler alerts, huh? Man, that was a dumb thing. Yeah. Oh, well. If you haven't seen it by now, my God, what are you wasting time for? Go watch it. Well, listen to this first, then go watch it. Let me ruin it for you, then go watch it. It's fun. Shinsuke turns heel. You want to know why I love that? He didn't have a reason to. He didn't have a reason to. Now, most of the time, I don't like that because he didn't have a reason to. There was no point in him in heel turn. However, remember what I said earlier? You have to give things a chance. See how they play out. Don't just take one match and say, this is the worst garbage I've ever seen. It's just rotten stuff. Don't do that because there's more going on. Nakamura evidently didn't have a reason to turn heel. We haven't heard him speak yet. What was his reason for turning on AJ? Dude, when he stood up and he was kicking AJ and like mocking him, you know what I mean, and putting the boot to his head and stuff, I immediately flashed back to when he first organized the Chaos stable in New Japan, because that Shinsuke Nakamura was a beast. And it's funny because I wrote the column for, by the way, the aforementioned WrestlingRumors.net, which you can evidently find Tom Clark on just about every day. Cool, right? But I wrote that column about Shinsuke Nakamura, and yes, I'm trying to find it. About a week ago, Shinsuke Nakamura will reclaim his strong style crown WrestleMania 34. Guess what he did? He most certainly did. He reclaimed it, man. Didn't win the belt, didn't need to. Didn't win the match, didn't need to. He reclaimed his strong style crown. For real. Try saying that fast 3 times, baby. Shinsuke Nakamura is once again the king of strong style. He killed it. I mean, he turned heel on AJ, left him for dead. I loved it because it was so different. I'm not going to turn on this, and I'm not going to have anything negative to say unless Shinsuke's version of events or unless Shinsuke's explanation is garbage. You know what I'm saying? Until I see that, then I have a different take on it. But I'm anxious to see what happens. I'm really anxious to see what happens. I'm anxious to hear what he says. I like the idea of it. This feud's not over. I think this feud ends with Shinsuke getting the belt at some point. I just don't know how it couldn't. But this whole thing is cool. You have to go check out Twitter. I retweeted it the moment he said it. Jay White, Switchblade from Chaos in New Japan. He tweeted out the words, "That's more like it." And oh my God in heaven, dude. Tweet of the night. After that, just turn off your Twitter machine, go to bed. Jesus. Can't get any better than that, dude. But yeah, I was surprised. Everyone was shocked. And that, yeah, again, man, WrestleMania 34, full of twists and turns. Who saw all this stuff coming? I mean, a lot of stuff that no one could have ever predicted. We knew the Bludgeon Brothers were going to become SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. That was a long time coming, in my estimation. The Usos and New Day could not wrestle again for 6 months, and it would be fine. They could wrestle again 6 times in the next 6 months, and it would be fine as well. They have such natural chemistry. But that was a good match, and it was a quick match. It didn't have a lot of response from the crowd, but, 13 matches on a very, very stacked deck with a capacity crowd, dude, it's going to be hard to stay, tuned in and connected to every single moment of every single match. It's not that easy, man. Let's back up a little bit. Woken Matt Hardy. Bray Wyatt returns to help Matt Hardy win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That was a nice touch. We all saw that coming, right? I wrote that column as well, talking about, Bray should return as with Woken Matt Hardy and join like the Woken family, become a Woken warrior, whatever he's calling it. I love that stuff. I think this is going to be tremendous fun. And if Sheamus and Cesaro had kept the tag belts, I would have said, here's your next tag team champions. but didn't happen. It's okay. It's all right. It's still going to be a blast. I look forward to Bray coming out, hopefully dressed like Matt. That'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that. How about Alexa Bliss? And again, I told you we're going to jump around, man. How about Alexa Bliss getting trounced by Nia Jax? Not a lot to talk about here. The match was okay. I wasn't in love with it, but it wasn't bad. I thought the point got across. Nia brought the rage. She brought the anger, and I thought she looked good. And I think everything went just fine. I wasn't upset with it at all. I enjoyed the match itself, and I liked it. So it's about time. There again, she had won the title, and she had come full circle, so that was nice. She deserved it. She's worked hard to get it. I've been critical of her for a long time. I said she was clumsy in the beginning. She was rough in the ring. She was too stiff because she didn't really know what she was doing. I think she's improved. I'm not going to say she's the best talent to have in the female division. I don't know how close she would ever be to being that, to be honest with you. But I will tell you this. I think that she did pretty well. I think the match got over. Let's talk about the Yes Man. Aha! Daniel Bryan, baby. Fight of the Valkyries. Here he comes. Daniel Bryan returned to in-ring action. It was as satisfying as anything you can imagine. Owens took him out with the powerbomb on the ring apron early. Shane had to work the majority of like half the match by himself, throwing the weakest punches you've ever seen in your life. I don't know why people get upset about that. It's Shane McMahon. You know he does that. It's whatever. Don't lose any sleep over it. You have to keep things in perspective. That's the biggest problem I have with people who are fans. First of all, there's WWE fans, there's pro wrestling fans. I'm a pro wrestling fan who watches a lot of WWE. Do you understand? Doesn't make me a snob. Doesn't make me any better than anyone else. But I'll tell you what it does do. It gives me perspective. Do I get upset when certain things happen? Yeah, of course. It does irritate me and frustrate me at times. But you have to be able to take it with a grain of salt. Look at what happened and go, oh man, that sucked. Let's move on. See what I'm saying? Don't get hung up on it, man. Don't get too hung up on this stuff. It's silly to do it. You can't change this company. A lot of people have been trying for a lot of years. They have a certain way they're going to do business. They have their own vision. They're not going to listen to you and give you a call and ask you how they should change their vision to suit you. It's not going to happen. So just live with it. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong and you don't have a point. Most of you do. Not saying that at all. Just like I do a lot of times. But dude, again, perspective. Just keep perspective, man. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. It'll all work itself out in the end. Well, how to get off on that? Daniel Bryan looked good. When he tagged into that match, tears came to his eyes. They did mine as well. And he almost smiled at Sammy. And it was such a great moment. That's one of those moments. I watched the show with a buddy of mine. And I kept, every so often I would say, dude, there's a good picture. Because I was anxious to write about the show so I could find the pictures. And that's a great picture right there. Daniel with tears in his eyes getting ready to get back in the ring for the first time in 2 years. Amazing stuff. So happy for that dude. He did so well. Picked up where he left off. Hadn't lost a step. It's good stuff. Let's see. Jinder Mahal is your new United States champion. He took down Bobby Roode and Rusev. A lot of people, that was a surprise for a lot of people as well. A lot of people had Rusev to win because they love that Rusev Day stuff. They just can't get enough of that crap. I call it crap, but you know what I mean, right? It's not crap. It's whatever. I'm just not sold on him. Don't anyone give me a hard time over this, dude. I can't help how I feel. I'm just not really exactly sold on him. Doesn't mean I don't like him. I'm just not convinced that he's the next big thing. I don't know. Cedric Alexander defeated Mustafa Ali to win the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. That was a bit of a surprise as well. They set up Ali as the sentimental favorite, sort of the underdog, the guy that had fought against the odds to get to where he was. Then he loses the match. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of moments in this show that make you go, what just happened? So, yeah. Who had the best entrance? I think Charlotte had the, I don't know why I come to this all of a sudden. Charlotte had the best entrance, in my opinion. Hunter and Stephanie come out on the motorcycles and whatnot. Shinsuke had the violins and the lead, forgive me for not remembering her name. Great shredder on guitar from Alice Cooper. That was a nice touch, great entrance. I still think Charlotte had the best entrance. Had her father's music that led into her music. Escorted to the ring by Roman soldiers. That was cool. Gladiators and stuff. That was nice. But yeah, man, the spectacle of the show. I mean, that's what draws you in, man. That's what does it for you. I mean, you watch this stuff and you're like, I can't wait till WrestleMania to see what they're going to look like, to see what they're going to wear, to see how they're going to act, who's going to win, what's going to happen, what's going to end, what's going to begin, that kind of thing. Before we split out of this thing, man, we got to mention Naomi prevailed. She won the first ever women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. We thought it was going to come down to Sasha and Bayley. Bayley throws Sasha out and thinks that she's won. She turns around. There's Naomi. I like that Naomi won. It can keep heat between Bayley and Sasha. When these two finally do work each other, it's going to be lit, as the kids say. Pulled that one out of thin air. How'd you like that, baby? But yeah, man, it's going to be epic. I'm looking forward to that, no doubt. So, what did you think about this match, man? Well, I mean, not just this match, every match, the event, WrestleMania 34. How many of you are still crying about stuff that's out of your control? Like everything else that we always see from this company. How many people out there are still having headaches over it? Stop doing it. Just stop doing it, man. Look, I just crammed like a 7-hour show into like 45 minutes. If that doesn't make you happy, come on, dude. Come on. I don't know why that'd make you happy. I think it's a feat in and of itself. So we're sitting there last night, real quick. We're maybe less than halfway through the show, and we're counting up how many matches left. We're like, dude, there's still 7 matches left. This is awesome. I don't have fatigue. It's a lot of wrestling, between the Hall of Fame Friday night, NXT Saturday night, which, by the way, was amazing. You got to give the NXT boys and girls credit. They deliver every single time. I am still fearful of the new style, the style that's pretty much captivated the entire wrestling business now with these young cats who throw caution to the wind. Ricochet looked great. We all knew he would. He was out there to impress, and he certainly did. I'm scared to death for that guy. Just like I am scared to death for Will Ospreay, who took a really, really nasty bump in New Japan off the ring apron doing a move that was stupid. Shouldn't have been done. Keep it in perspective, folks. As we said before, you are not the one in the ring risking your life. It's these guys' decisions to do these things to their bodies. I will tell you this from my perspective, and I can't speak for you or anyone else, but I would hope that I speak for all of us when I say this. We complain because we care. I don't want to see anything happen to Will Ospreay. I don't want to see anything happen to Ricochet. I don't want to see one of these kids get stretchered off, paralyzed from the neck down. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if that happens, this company will immediately pull the plug on any of these high-flying, death-defying. It won't happen anymore. Just like you didn't see the pile driver for a while after Stone Cold got hurt. I'm telling you right now, forget about it, man. It's not going to happen. They will pull the plug, and they should. A lot of these risks that these guys take are unnecessary. They're completely unnecessary. They don't need to happen. I'm not trying to get preachy. But you can have a match like Aleister Black where you're striking hard, striking fast, and not kill each other, and not pull crazy stunts that has potential to hurt you or hurt the guy you're working. I'm not saying Aleister doesn't do crazy stuff, because he can and has potential to, like they all do at this age and this juncture. Where'd that come from? Of the business. That's some George Bush there for you. Dana Carvey, George Bush, even more. How you like that? Where else can you get, like, in the intro to a pro wrestling show, a Blazing Saddles reference, a Tombstone reference, then a Dana Carvey, George Bush reference? Comic books everywhere. I'm just nothing but regurgitating pop culture all up in your face. Jesus, wash your hands and clean your shoes. That stuff went everywhere. I'm just saying, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, this to me, this entire event is in the top 5. NXT TakeOver was well done. So many nice matches on there. Great things happening. The new style does concern me. It's always going to concern me. I want these men and women to be safe. I'll put it to you this way. I had a conversation with someone the other day about the new style that's happening. And I said, yeah, Ricochet's fun. Will Ospreay's fun. That's true. Can they walk in 10 years? Because Ricky and Robert are still wrestling. And they're like in their mid to late 50s, early 60s. They're still wrestling. Now, you can make fun of that. You can poke holes in it. Whatever you want, it's fine. But do you see what I'm trying to get at here, folks? The style is what I'm talking about. The style. What style are you working? Is it a style that keeps you safe? I think The Miz will have a career for the next 20 years if he wants it. I'm not kidding. I firmly believe that. Will Ospreay? No, sir. I don't think Will Ospreay makes it 15 years. I don't mean life or death. I'm saying I don't think he'll be able to. I think it's too much. I think just the amount of scar tissue that kid already has is probably unbelievable. Torn ligaments, torn tendons, injuries, whatnot, strain on the body. The body can only take so much trauma until it decides to start shutting down. I don't want to see it happen. I hope it doesn't. I'm just throwing it out there because I want the best for these guys and gals. I want there to be a business in the future. I grew up watching this business, loving it as a child. My 9-year-old watches it with me. I want it to be here when he has a 9-year-old one day, okay? And I want it to be there for that 9-year-old's 9-year-old. I want generations to keep enjoying the business because I love this business so much. It's the one true American art form, folks. I said that 100 times on the show if I've said it once, and it's the truth. I'm out of breath. I'm tired. I need a nap. I'm gonna finish this Coke Zero sugar. And try to enjoy the rest of my day. You do the same. Listen, man, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Quick plugs before I split. Remember, Boink Studios is a place to go for links to the podcast, the show you're listening to now, and other shows that we have in our collection. Remember that you can find me on Daily DDT, Wrestling Rumors, the Chairshot, Camel Clutch blog. I'm kind of everywhere right now. So still more things in the works. We'll touch base on that when we can. Follow me on Twitter at Tom Clark Writes, WRITES, Tom Clark Writes. Follow us on boinkstudios.com, Boink Studios on Twitter. If you have a question or a comment or a suggestion for a show or an episode or anything you'd like to know or hear about or talk about or whatever, boinkstudios@yahoo.com. That's it, Jack. That's it. We're done. We're gone. Go watch WrestleMania again. It was a fun show. I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it a whole bunch this week. How about you? Have fun with it, man. Have fun with it. Enjoy the business. I love it. That's it. We're out, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.